Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today we are going to explain you the class 7 geography part, chapter 5, water, a small portion of that which is tide. So let's begin. First I will read it for you, then I will explain the portion in simple words. The rhythmic rise and fall of the ocean water twice in a day is called the tide. So when the water in the ocean rises and falls twice the daytime, it is called as the tide. It is a high tide when the water covers much of the shore by rising at the highest level, and low tide when water falls to its lowest level and resides from the shore. So it is given that when the ocean water level is at the highest point, it is called as the high tide, and when the ocean water level it is the lowest point, it is called as the low tide. So it is all because of the celestial objects, the sun, earth and the moon. Because of the arrangements in these three celestial objects, the spring tide and neap tide and formed, and from these tides we have the high tide and the low tide. The strong gravitational pull exerted by the sun and moon on the earth's surface causes the tides. As I have said, when these celestial objects exert their gravitational pull on earth have water, so the water get pulled towards them. So in the result, they form the tides. When there is a neap tide, when the sun, earth and moon forms the 90-degree angle, it forms the low tide when the water is at the lowest level. And when the sun, earth, moon are at 180-degree, means in a straight line order, it is called the spring tide, and it always forms the high tide during the spring tide. The water of the earth closer to the moon gets pulled under the influence of the moon's gravitational force, causing high tide. So it is given that when the moon is around the earth, when it is close to any of the pole, the water near that area or the region gets attracted to the celestial object and the tides are formed. When there is spring tide, there is high tide, and when there is neap tide, there is low tide. So I hope you can understand. So let's move on. During the full moon and the new moon days, the sun, moon and the earth are in same line and the tide are highest. As I have already said that when there is full moon and the new moon day, they form 180-degree, means all the celestial objects are at the same line. So it is called as the spring tide, and at this point the tides are at the highest level. So it is a point to remember, please remember it. These tides are called the spring tides, but when the moon is in first and last quarter, the ocean water get drawn diagonally opposite direction, the gravitational pull of the sun and the moon resulting in low tide. When the sun and the moon form a 90-degree angle during the first and last quarter of the moon, it results in formation of the low tide, because the sun also pulls the water and the moon also pulls the water, so it results in formation of the low tide. So you can see here. Let's move ahead. These tides are called the neap tides. The celestial object forming 90-degree are called the neap tides, and celestial object when forming 180-degree are called as the spring tide. So hope you are understanding. The high tides help in navigation. There is the water level close to the shores. They help the ships to arrive the harbor more easily. So the high tides are very good at ship navigations. When we are lost in a sea, we can clearly notice our way back to the shore with the help of these high tides. Also they help the ships to again flow back to the harbor where they are situated. Also, the high tides are also very helpful in fishing. Many more fishes came closer during the high tide. So here they have given the advantages of the high tide, that the fishing is very privileged or very more in the period of high tide, when all the fishes came towards the shore at the high tide. This enables the fisherman to get a plentiful catch, and the rise and fall of the water to tides is being used as a generate electricity in some places. So here there is given that when the high tide is there, the fisherman catch a plentiful amount of fish, and they have a lot of good business in this high tide period. And also when the rise and fall of the water is going on, we can use it for to generate the electricity in some places, also called as hydroelectricity generation, etc. So that's it for the tides portion. Hope you all understand it. If any of the doubt or you want anything more to explain, you can comment in the chat box. That's it for now. Thank you.